Hey, hello. Hi, everybody. Jenny's here. Hasta la vista. My two best fans. You. Oh yeah, didn't post a link. Let's post the YouTube link. Yeah, I am live. Futures. Here we go. So, yeah, glad to see you. Thanks for joining. I know the first one are subscribed and have the notification bell on. Yeah, if you're afraid to miss the beginning, don't forget to do so, because I may forget to post a link everywhere, or I may just decide to go live and brutally. Jenny, I must say BTC held against S&P in both directions. Yeah, in both directions. Yeah, when S&P was going up, since last week, Bitcoin was not moving. It went down when S&P was correcting a bit. Now that S&P is going down, BTC is not moving. It is what it is, right? But first things first. I daily chart here. It does not look good, right? Maybe first thing first, what I should mention maybe is, today is still the deadline for the grayscale decision, about the court decision on the grayscale versus SEC case, and the SEC have until today midnight apparently, East time, West time, I don't know, East time I guess it's midnight on US time, East time. Anyway, until midnight to appeal the decision and go back to court, or otherwise what I understood is that it's gonna be an approval de facto for the grayscale ETF, basically. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Honestly, I don't know. There is some hints that have been leaking, talking about meeting between the ECC and several applicants. I could say we are close to an approval, which is anyway pretty likely that we are close to an approval overall. What are going to be happening today? Well, I don't know. I feel the news have been a bit too much sold, in the sense that I've been trending a bit too much in while BTC is at a precarious place right now. So I'm not necessarily expecting a major turnaround today. Well, maybe if we learn that it's gonna be approved, or it's approved de facto, well, maybe that's gonna fuel a bit of right? Is it gonna get us into a new bull run, etc.? I don't know either. I'm kind of thoughtful still. For now, we rejected still from the weekly, 3-day, daily, 200 daily moving average. Weekly, 3-day, and daily 200 moving average. And locally, while we get back inside the value area of that range, right? Where is my value tool? We lost the daily order block. We closed significantly below our range here, which makes this rather a candidate of a upper deviation rather than this being a lower deviation. So yes, things look rather good for downtrend, in my opinion, from here, for continuation of the downtrend. Now, if we were to reclaim the 27k, close the daily above, that will be a sign of strength, basically. If we zoom in a bit more on the 4-hour chart here, we have a 4-hour order block here, 27,200. So, a 4-hour close above this will be sign of strength. 4-hour close above 27,200. And on the even lower time frame, well, basically, it is the 27,300 top here. That is market structure change. That will invalidate a bunch of bearish count at that point. So yeah, that's where we are. Hey, the Iridium Taurus is here as well. Hi guys. So yeah, we also lost the daily trend line support here. So that the trend that I've been establishing here, of course, you can see it is we lost the trend here, but we have just extra confirmation that from a daily point of view here, the relative strength index tell us that we lost that trend here, which give even more credit to the fact that we are heading toward most likely at least value are low of the range, and according to the count I have right now, I think we have good chances of breaking this range down, basically making this range rather a redistribution here. According to that count. So yeah, for now I'm standing with that as my main bias. I'm mainly short. That will change if we start to reclaim level here. I will close most of my short and just remain a bit more long. Sorry, there's music a bit disturbing me here. But otherwise, yeah, a target based on the current high we have from the beginning of the month here. We have 1-1 extension, basically going into a weekly order block here, 22 weekly level, not the same, around 22k, and ultimately we have a nice target, which is gonna be POC around 19k. Okay, the POC a bit higher here. I'm basing it on the aggregated spot chart rather, because at this stage we are rather looking at spot. For me, I will be rather looking at spot volume than derivative, right? Because derivative gonna, if we have a move down, the derivative gonna cause a liquidation cascade and accelerate the move down. But on the wider swings that we're playing here, we're talking about spot and long-term position here, because we are talking about a second wave of larger degree. So yeah, that's where the trading environment become more focused on the fundamental spot liquidity and such a move, especially. While all the movements here are mostly led by derivative liquidity, the small ones. What I mean. So that's my main count. Now I can share a few alternatives, of course. Well, if we were to to recover here and get above October high, I still think there is a chance that we are in a corrective move, right? Basically, still the idea of a zigzag. It's just that we're gonna pull the wave B potentially into the $30,000 liquidity here above, yeah, August 8 high here. We'll still have a valid corrective move in play with the count of a wild card one. Basically, I think we can still stay on that one. You know, it can dive a bit lower as well. Still just a valid expanded flat in the middle here. We have potentially we can look at the 160-18 if we have like a flush, one last flush here. Lower time frame can gonna be a bit complex, but or maybe we do have a rise here and do a ending diagonal sort of stuff. Well, anyway, I was about to say, yeah, we still have potential corrective higher that would still be valid. Again, considering the price action so far, especially for the past 2 weeks here, and the way there has been not a lot of liquidity and support being sold into, I'm not really favoring that. But that's still a possibility. A valid Elliott Wave scenario, at least. And, you know, a few bull counts, because in theory, you know, approaching this a simple way. You have a swing low, a swing high, a higher low, a higher high. As long as this market structure is not broken, it's still a valid 1-2 potential. Right? Can still be in a wave 2 here, which could mean indeed extension up, right? If the thing happen, it happened. I will need volume to come in, etc. Well, that will come in line with obviously the potential ETF news and demand that start to pick up and volumes that come and get a sustained run, right? For now, there is nothing indicating that to me. But that's a valid idea from a negotiation perspective. And, you know, after you want to approach the count on the lower time frame, the more you zoom in, the more you're gonna have possibilities, right? In theory, we can have a corrective move from the high. No, just taking, we have the only certainty that we have on that time frame is that we have a finished move here and a finished move here. We have an actionary and a corrective up here. How do you approach that one? With a lot of overlapping. Well, there is many approach, right? Until you have really a big expansion or a reversal expansion on one side or the other, indicating you, well, down either you are in a big wave, third wave, so that eliminate a few high Ts. Or if you have a reversal, well, you know that most likely something is finished here. In theory, we could have a count finished here. We could do a lower low still. Or two other low, lower low. In fact, not a big fan of that count, but yeah, that does work. That one would be just in between, really nearly invalidation of a corrective move. Of course, if we're in a corrective here, we already kind of went a bit beyond what we would expect for a corrective down. A corrective down will have stop at the 1-1 extension, at the monthly, on a sweep of the lows here, in theory. If this is a bear trap and it recover, well, I have to see. Even if it go lower, right? It's going to be just an aggressive thing. But corrective here is still valid as long as we don't breach this low. So that's why I'm saying this ID could be a bit in between. But it can also be, as we approach 161.8, a valid third wave instead. And that you can sweep the lows here to some weekly level, monthly level here. And as you know, there is liquidity here. There will be a ton of stop losses at that point. So that would potentially produce a bounce. And that can be just a wave 4. If this is breach. If it is not breach, it can remain in theory a C wave and go into new highs. I'm insisting on in theory. The more we dive, the more it's likely that we're going to just come back down. In fact, you know, I'm looking a lot at the state of open interest here. You may have seen a poster, a tweet talking about $1 billion of longs underwater. Things have shifted a bit now, but you can see how open interest starting to rise from here, right? So everything that have been opened since then, and I'm going to load this again. Where? It's good. So all open interests that have been opened here, there is still 800 million, so nearly $1 billion here. So that means that there is as much long and short open ranges. There's often, I mean, most of you know already, but it's always good to repeat this. There is always as much long as short open. For each long, there is a short, right? So that means there's a 800 millions positions that are basically underwater here on the long side. That's why I think if we continue to go lower, at some point we should see a flush of open interest as we enter into liquidation of the mid-leverage position. And you know, there will be people that just capitulate or have stop losses. Like, well, the most obvious is below here right now at that point. I have a bunch of stop losses here and here, I guess, and the next one is here. At some point you want to see a flush, right? Well, either a flush, either a big spike to say, well, there's position getting trapped, right? Like we had all the way up here at each high, we have a big spike of open interest opening into a tiny range because I just, well, that's where some market makers move the price aggressively to a new level where they find market enthusiasm and people are willing to chase price up or are getting into a FOMO. So that's what you'll see open interest creeping up pretty quickly, right? They'll be in a big position to just push price up and they trap everything. So you want to see either that, either a big flush to say the movement in that direction is losing strength. That said, well, there is also spot CVD that is going down, down, and down since that top, so indicating rather organic selling pressure. While Obviously, there is perp going down a bit here, but a lot less than spot. You can see just where from the 26K low here, spot is significantly lower, while derivative is basically at the same level. So most of the sell pressure here have been coming from spot. Sometime when you're chasing spot liquidity, you might see, instead of a big flush of open interest, you might be looking for a big flush on the spot CVD, right? But I don't think that's where we are right now. Regarding what I was talking about earlier, which can be a bullish sign if you have very, very aggressive move down on the spot CVD. But here it's looking more like it's gonna lead down, in my opinion. And yeah, so open interest, $1 billion, it's a big number, but it's not so big either on the grand scheme of things for Bitcoin here. I'm just considering the $1 billion underwater here because I believe that the people that are been opening along here are most likely rather FOMO and small or big trader, but yeah, rather into a FOMO stage, right? But if you look from basically the low here we made, we still have also a tendency to rise up, right? So it's not let's say that it's kind of weird because you have 70% of the open interest that have been flipping at that into that upper range, but overall you can see how the trend have been going up. So it's most likely that you have some position, some short position that are still open from the low. At that point, who will hold the short position from range low up to here? Well, that's most likely not your average and leverage retail trader, right? That's most likely short selling for liquidity purpose. Which let me think that overall, yeah, this is a short position that I've been building. This big movement, I believe they also help this liquidity provider to kind of hide the position that they're trying to build. Sometimes they will be buying or selling their own bids and ask, or opening both long and short position. But there will be on the certain period, they're going to be just positioning on a directional bias. Well, it's not what market maker is supposed to do, but often what they do in crypto, right? So letting me think that, yeah, there is some kind of big short position that I've been building here, and this movement and this big shift here, let me think, they have been able to redistribute their long position into just short. What the point I'm trying to say. Hope we're going down at this point, because otherwise I'm just gonna be wrong, and sounds like it's a lot of bullshit. But yeah, that's how I think things. And that's also, that's part of the larger analysis. You can see I'm looking at volume, at the count, at some few idea, and I'm trying to grasp how the sentiment is on the market. And what I can see, either a little interest, either some kind of FOMO and bullishness. For example, the ECC stuff. Well, I have 8 notifications here. Did something happen? No news. Okay. Okay, you just. Oh, okay. Thanks for it. Um, uh, yeah, you can see how a lot of big accounts have been trying to initiate some kind of demand by saying, yeah, the spot ETF is really close. Maybe it's going to be approved tomorrow, etc., etc. And you can feel that kind of misbehavior when they try to trigger some kind of demand, where I can see on the data there is just no demand, nothing. Well, nothing, not nothing, but when you look at the volume, there is no demand as we go up. There is some volume when we go down. So there is selling pressure into support level, into logical place to buy. But that's also, for me, it's in how Bitcoin tend to behave. It's distributing it to support. A bit in contradiction with the standard Wyckoff view, when you just sell at the high of the range and buy at the low, and depending which side is a stronger, it's going to be one side. And Bitcoin distribution tend to happen a lot into support, and you can see volume, selling pressure going down, find a bit of liquidity, so they close a bit, that relieves the price, but they keep selling into support, let it rise back to just release the pressure, not letting people join, well, not letting the crowd join too much of the downward party, and produce some kind of fake bullish candle, like when you have some kind of stuff like this, right? You people, or you have a nice 4-hour bullish candle and it can go. Or this kind of hammer here, that's really the kind of printing, I'm saying printing or drawing, because that's what market makers do. They draw charts, they know how to do it. They're able to just hold price at certain level for just a candle close, right? And that the first thing anybody learn when starting to learn about trading and charting, it's just learning about candlestick. Sometimes it's a very obvious one that works very well. Here you have an inverse hammer very nicely. But yeah, they tend to print this kind of stuff to create artificial demand. There was some comment I forget. On the high time frame, June low, no hit on the Coinbase and CME. Are you eyeing this as well? June, okay. June low here was front run on most spot here. In fact, here on my aggregated of the most reliable spot exchange, we don't have taken that low. Well, the thing is, according to my count, I think we could be seeing rather acceleration, at least a higher time frame. As I'm looking at a wave C down, that would be looking at 22K. Now, with all I've been saying here, coming back a bit on Wyckoff here. Where is my that one? Yeah. Basically, we had accumulation here. Apparently, apart some Bankman Fried that was selling below 20K for some reason that I still didn't get. But anyway, otherwise that was accumulation, right? You can see clearly the volume and the big spike of volume, especially at the last stage of the capitulation. And and demand coming back a bit on the rise, but not so sustained. Right? It changed a bit the trend of the volume. What changed a lot more is there is a lot less selling pressure, and we enter into that trend. So now, if this is indeed a reaccumulation or an accumulation as a whole, there's two ways that can unfold, in my opinion. Is either this is really distribution as a whole, and then that means we could have a markdown into indeed POC, even naked POC of the lowest range here at value are low, basically, and have a new phase of reaccumulation that should last a month or a few months. Or this is really just accumulation or reaccumulation. It will act as a backup at the edge of the creek. In that case, in theory, what I would want to see is just some kind of capitulation volume here as some kind of spring. That still work with the idea of an ABC. In fact, we could see a spring into the 22K. It's not exactly the same order block, but into the 1-1 extension of that move, basically. Can be just a deep one. Can function a bit, and so that would be a take of that liquidity, but I guess not on the same scale that you were looking for. I mean, obviously, I would be attentive of what happened here. There might be even a small trade to be taken, depending also what happened on the lower time frame. Otherwise, I think it could be a lot more deeper. Now, if we were to see some kind of V-shaped reversal, so basically that will be the recommendation range, and we'll be looking for a spring right now. For that case, the spring can be either a V-shaped reversal, or it can also be like a move down, small accumulation, and a bar up. A bit more tricky, but that's the bad pattern is a specialty of the crypto market, right? And that could be a spring indeed. I will be looking at a bit more lower than just a sweep of that. Now, saying this, we'll see, for example, on that time frame, for now, how I'm approaching potentially one count. The inner one is kind of, complex until you have some kind of expansion. But I can focus on what I have a high set into, which is that swing high from swing low to swing high. So propose 1-2. I'm looking at the target for a third wave, so that will be 16018 and 26018. Let me hide the rest of the count here because it's a bit messy. I just need the third here. Here we go. So basically, if I'm focusing on just that time frame and the idle target for a third wave here, well, I have the 26018 that is coming just below September low, so that could be at the June low as well. So that could produce indeed a wave 4. Now, thing with this is that's not gonna be enough to get us to the lower target here, in theory. Now, the fifth wave, sometimes it can be a bit overextended. So for now, I'm not decided. I need to see what's gonna be the next expansion. But potentially we could do 3, 4, even 5. So sweep the low once, have a bounce, sweep that low a second time for a fifth, with some kind of divergence, and maybe all of that become a wave 1 of the larger C, and we still have a retest of the range somewhere as wave 2, and we continue for the lower 19K target, for example. It could take some time, and that's really forecasting into some stuff I don't have enough data to as of yet. Perfect. I'm seeing that 25k as important SA as well. Okay. Yeah, nice. Everyone is stuck looking at the range of the last 2 months, but that sweep will be 25. If not much lower. Good. Great minds. Think alike. So yeah, what's happening here now? Bit of recovery again. Bit of an impulse building up. Really ranging day. Ideal day for scalper, I guess. At this point, for my bearish count, I'd rather not see this high get challenged. So I think here it seems that we're building an impulse. So if we're doing something like this, it could be another short opportunity again. In theory, we could have a long opportunity as well here. I think I'm done trading for this week, so well, unless there's a big movement, right? Yeah. Me around. Trying to stabilize. I had an idea earlier trying to challenge my bias a bit here. It was to have some kind of small time reversal here. No, I can get a decent finished move from here to here. So if we were for me the 27k is still a key level, right? That's what gonna flip me into a bit less bearish, or at least a bit more neutral. Well, you know, that kind of obvious level that are being built up. Sometimes I feel like, well, that kind of produce liquidity as well. As you have kind of bearish confirmation, it means that if you get a move up here, might find back a bit of liquidity. So maybe a second wave here. That's just what I was wanting to say. So maybe we have wave 1 here, wave 2, and subwave 1 here, and we can go into subwave 2 as long as we don't breach the high of last Friday, right? The great show that I gave last Friday during the stream. Well, in theory, we could retrace anywhere into that range and still be into a bearish market structure, so still be into an extension of the bigger third wave. Something I'm keeping in mind. Kind of broke here, but yeah. The idea after is to look for obvious point of liquidity, which is that swing high, which is kind of the, yeah, it is a bearish invalidation for the most bearish count, right? The one where we're just about to collapse, but of course that's gonna be potentially as well a good little short, because there will be liquidity. Next liquidity will be around 707. We could be going into some kind of choppiness upward here, or the kind of squeeze that Bitcoin like to do as well. At that point, if we get a squeeze, some kind, and we see again the, you know, open interest reaching its higher band here, might be a short. I say might because if that happened, I guess that would be because of news on Grayscale. So that could lead to a bit higher. Yeah, not sure. That one. Yeah, that said, yeah. So yeah, even in case of ETF approval, I'm not sold on the bullish case unless I really see expansion in price and volume, expansion in candle spread and volume, and real demand. But now anything lower than July high might be still a wave B in theory, a corrective move up to another leg down. In theory, we could even sweep the high as we have an ABC flat here. That would take some time, but in theory, we could still building another flat like this. More expecting the downtrend at that point. Anyway, that's gonna be all I have to say, I think. What else do we have? Oh, yeah, well, we have Grayscale. It's still closing its gap with its nav, right? So it's not dropping like Bitcoin is doing. Yes, if an apple is announced, it's gonna drop. It kind of low, like a leading diagonal, so potentially here and still correcting after. S&P going down nicely. I mean, who would have thought that, because they've been following my account really well for the past few days. I'm still rather not so bullish on S&P as a whole. Now you might remember I shared a bullish count, or at least mid bullish. That's not the one. Or it's all messy here. Where is that? Oh, bear here. Bull here. There you go. Yeah, in theory, yeah, I have a valid count. As we hold the 50% here nicely, we hold the key, well, very key support level here. And for now, we have a nice rise on World War III event. Still have, yeah, still holding the channel overall. And looking at this, I mean, until we lose this, it's kind of legit to be looking for continuation up. The trend is up since last year. I can see a fifth wave happening. That said, I'm personally not enthusiastic, and there is also a very good candidate for a bearish count, and we'll just be into a second wave here. That would be invalidate if we get above September high here. As for the lower time frame, where I'm supposedly a bit less good to read that, but so far it works. I'm reading an impulse from high to low here, so I think we have been entering wave B or 2. And yeah, ideally golden pocket here. We'll see. I think this is still the first leg of the correction that we could shop around a bit and maybe, well, then go for either wave C or a 3 that go higher. A C that reverses down, or a 3 that go higher. And validation being the top of September here. It's kind of my outlook on the S&P so far. Gold is looking not bad. It kind of front-run a bit what I would want to look. Wow, it's not bad today. So okay, that's kind of, yeah, even on a big run, right? But the count was, yeah, well, that was the idea. Now it's probably going into a run, into new highs, new all-time highs, I think, ultimately. Look like we're in the third wave here, acceleration into a very unstable world. And so I think that can sustain here, especially with today. We didn't really hit the 1-1 extension. We didn't really catch a liquidity below this, but we have a valid APC here. So now we can buy physical gold. Any consolidation could be a buy. I'm not pure, especially a buyer into a squeeze like this. Look like we print a 1. Approaching the 1-1 extension, so if this is really getting yeah, we were basically at resistance here. No, but I will not sell that. Definitely not. Kind of hard to buy into resistance. Wait, where is this? 161.8 here. I think it could come up here into 3, 4, 5, and then maybe consolidate for 2. Probably shorter than that, but we get the edge. You see, becoming support next. Hopefully, we'll have a consolidation into a high. I mean, the 1-2 here is very small, small in terms of time. We should see some kind of consolidation to have an impulse, clean impulse. I don't know, maybe there have been some news. Hey, Queenie, coming at the end. I will let you enjoy the replay. Thanks for liking, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe either. It's a notification bell. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it. It's kind of enough. I'm just trying to think if I can give a trade here, but it's kind of complex here. You know, I can still give a short, but I don't know why it's gonna be. But invalidation is above the high, that's for sure. Profit at the low initially. Could it be a good long on a sweep of the low? On a higher low? That's the question. I would... And I've been flipping a few longs here, so you know, I'm kind of rather scalping my edge. So in case we start to reclaim this, I will exit short and be net long at that point. But for me, it's rather taking scalps, because otherwise you can try to long here, you can try to long a higher low, you can try to long a sweep of the low with a target, legit target higher, but if the bearish plan go, well, you may have 10 opportunities to get legitimately stopped out, right? So that can burn out any profit made on the downside, which makes things a bit complex. Let's say there is, maybe for that 4, wave 4. What? What that gave. Yeah, no, it's not a great. No, if I do a long here, that will be based on a reaction, some kind of flush of open interest and somewhat open interest getting trapped potentially, and a small time frame reversal. But yeah, a bit dangerous long here, so I cannot really give good longs. And at that point, you know, I like to short the high of the range. So, well, you have a mini range here. That can be the short. So yeah, anyway, thanks everybody for joining. Hope you have a good time. Interesting one. And I see you all very soon. Hopefully. Have a good weekend. See you.